It's a sigh, not of relief, not quite a frustration, but definitely emotive, right? It's sort of like letting out emotion. So yeah, so it's 5:11. I feel like I should be cracking open. Maybe not alcohol, but definitely something, right? I actually do a lot of energy drinks. I don't have one with me, so um, you know I can't do that. But yeah, it was a Monday. It was a Monday. That's all I probably have to say about that. Not too bad, right? I made it through. I still have a little bit more to do, but made it through to 5:11, right? So that's good. You notice that. Well, one thing. So part of obviously part of what we do here is we reflect, but then we reflect on reflecting, right? And we'll get to the main topic of discussion today shortly. But I just want to say, like, you notice that I feel like I'm consciously trying to be composed right now, because probably internally I'm not that composed, and maybe you can hear the little quivers in my voice, but I'm trying to be composed. So there's sort of like a purposeful composure in the sense of I want to do these, I want to do this video. I want to see where this is going. We probably should start thinking about also, right, as I'm reflecting, we probably should start thinking about what we're going to go do with this series, right? This is, I think, the fifth video, and so we made it to 5 videos, not quite a week. We'll see what happens at the week mark, and see how we're doing the pilot series. See if the execs upstairs want to extend this. But yeah, but I had a call with a client today, and it just reminded me of one of the things that I think, whether you look at me in the perspective of an individual or as a part of a group, I'd like to dispel stereotypes that are wrong, right? I'd like to keep stereotypes that are good, right? Stereotypes, my thoughts on stereotypes is that I don't look at them as sort of good or bad. I think they can be informative, right? Or they can be not informative, right? And the extent to which they're not informative, they're probably going to be like, they don't do anyone, they're probably doing a disservice, right? So for me, like, I think you might look at me for whatever reason, however you look at me, and you might think to me that this guy knows how to talk to people. And maybe people like me generally do, but I don't. I mean, as you can see, I'm sort of like talking to a camera. This is the most comfortable conversation I'll have all day, no joke. But maybe when I'm like sort of writing in my diary or something. But this is my video diary. But so I'm on the phone with this client, and I just ask the most awkward questions to like fill the time. You guys do that? That's the question of the day. I wanted to do another question of the day, but the first question of the day will be: do you guys like ask awkward questions to fill time? I remember in college, right? I was like, there was a cute person that I was very much attracted to, and we were just like sort of sitting there, and like the person was waiting for me. I could tell, for me to like make a move, and I wanted to make a move, like, sincerely, but like it was sort of like I didn't know what to say. Like, what am I supposed to say to this person? And so I ended up, like, I think I said like something. You want to be, the goal. I think if you're gonna sort of approach someone, you want to be both. You want to say something good. In other words, you want to have good content, but your delivery is probably just as or more important. So you want to deliver. Like, I did the absolute worst thing you could do. I can't even remember what my content was. Like, in other words, like, I tried to say something. I think I asked the question, but it was a question that I like literally like mumbled it. And like, I think the person sort of turned their head, and they sort of, like, I don't even know if they fully like turned over. They were like, they either like couldn't, they made like they couldn't hear it and like expected me to say something more, or they were just like didn't want to hear it because it was just abysmal. And then they ended up like, and then I turned around, obviously, because I was like, what just came out, and then they like walked away 2 minutes later because I was like just red, pure red. But it's like asking like your favorite color, right? It's sort of like, what's your favorite color? I go with like sort of, blue or red, whatever. If you say red, the problem with saying red is that it sort of indicates, right, that you're sort of like a bold person. And I don't actually want to be that or be perceived like that because I'm not sure if I can live up to that, right? So that puts a lot of pressure if you sort of live up. But yeah, but so awkward questions, right? Like you ask like dumb questions. It's like the literary major, like who's your favorite writer, or like what's your favorite book, or what's your favorite song, right? Like that's the like what do you think? But it's sort of like I don't know, like I want to get to know you, and it's like whatever. I'm just kidding, but that's interesting. But you notice, right? So what I really wanted to talk about, other than saying like I made it through the day almost, I'm like 80% of the way through, right? The 80%, maybe the 20% is like where the payoff happens. This 80% was calling clients, asking their favorite colors kind of day. But anyway, but the other point I wanted to talk about is really what I'm really interested in is just this sort of like overthinking, right? And this is what I really wanted to ask my audience here. If you guys like sort of overthink things, because another thing, like you may not think that I mean, I don't like, I don't come off, maybe, I don't know how I come off. That's part of the problem, right? Part of the problem is that I think if you're not comfortable with presenting yourself, you don't know how you come off. And then you sort of expect that you come off in a bad way. It's like, not that would be good. So, but anyway, but I tend to overthink things. And I don't overthink necessarily in planning, right? Like planning this, planning my life, planning like, the next week, right? Like where will you be a week from now, 10 weeks from now, a year from now, 5 years, et cetera, et cetera. I have no idea. I'm going to sort of, throw the line out and see what happens, right? That's my catchphrase, is see what happens. It really is not, but what I tend to do though is I will dwell upon things, right? Like I'll sort of dwell on my mistakes. I'll dwell on, thinking about how I came off to sort of a client or something. And I guess, I was going to be, as I was thinking about what to say today, I was thinking, I probably, I think there's a good reason for that. And I think that, part of it is because I do tend to be so focused on, like the external world. I think that you tend not to collect your own thoughts, right? And really, if you think about it, like life is all about sort of who has the biggest roadside, right? Like who is able to sort of make the most with what they have with their own sort of originality, right? And that's presumably what YouTube is about and all of that. But I think I just it's a tough situation, because I really do enjoy like thinking, but at the same time, you wonder like what kind of productivity is there, and what is the sort of end goal with that. And for someone who, like I said, I don't know about you guys, but for someone who is sort of like always motivated for that, like what's the point, right? Like what are we going to get out of this? It is it can be very, very paralyzing, right? Analysis paralysis. So yeah. So I guess the point, right? I mean, I don't have much to say more than that, but the point is like, yeah, try not to be stuck in analysis paralysis, and try to, right, deliver, right? Like they say, the one it's basically like it has to be natural, right? They say like the best thing is to put yourself in positions where you're sort of naturally comfortable. And the problem is that if you're naturally comfortable in a box, right, you can, when I say box, I mean like a sort of, when you're naturally comfortable in sort of one block, right, one block of the neighborhood, you can outgrow that very quickly, and you become like me. Like I'm already sort of, I need to get up. I need to start. I've been talking to you guys for some time. I need to get up. It is something where you've got to expand, but at the same time, not be afraid to expand, right? So having said that, yeah, that's about all I have to say. I think we may start to do something else in this spot other than just have my own sort of reflections on and sort of, little calls to action. But yeah, I hope everybody made it through their Mondays, whatever it was, clients, strolls in the park, whatever. I'm just kidding. But yeah, hope everybody's made it through Amen. Right. It's 5 o'clock here. Right. So hopefully everybody's going on. All right. Bye.